November 16th will be an interesting matchup in UFC 309, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. And of course, a lot of people have a ton of questions and a little bit of distaste for this fight. But besides that, there's also a good co-main event, that being the rematch between Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler. There are some other fights on the undercard, but we'll just talk about the co-main and main event. But of course, Michael Iron Chandler is 23-8, 11 wins by way of knockout, 7 submission wins, and 5 decisions. 4 losses by way of knockout, 1 submission loss, and 3 by decision. Now, of course, he was the former Bellator champion, but in the UFC, he has only lost 3 times, that being against the absolute best of the division. That being to Charles Oliveira, obviously, Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier. Very good. But then again, you could also say he's only beaten 2 people in the UFC, that being Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson. So, you know, just whatever. But besides that, he'll be taking on the former world champion Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira, 34-10, 10 wins by way of knockout, 21 wins by way of submission, and 3 decisions. 4 losses by way of knockout, 4 losses by way of submission, and 2 losses by way of decision. And 1 no contest. Of course, he is coming off of the loss to Arman Tsarukyan back in UFC 300 in a very close fight. People like to say that Oliveira edged it out. I personally don't think so. I thought Arman won, not convincingly, obviously, but I thought he edged it out, right? But before that, he beat Beneil Dariush via stoppage in the first round, then lost to Islam Makhachev, losing, well, he didn't lose the title. He lost on the scales against Justin Gaethje, I believe, but he lost his chance of becoming champion again. Before that, he was known as a quitter. Like, he constantly got stopped all the time. And then people are all like, well then, this guy's a bum, right? But then he made his miraculous title reign as well, beating people like Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje. So now people believe he's one of the best lightweights in history, you know? But besides that, this is the rematch, and obviously we all know how that first one ended. Charles Oliveira stopped Michael Chandler on his way to, I do believe that was the title shot, and that's where he became champion. So, of course, people are wondering, will this be any different? No, it won't. The last time he fought was against Dustin Poirier, which he got submitted back in 2022. So, 2-year layoff, essentially, and he's 38. So, yeah, 2-year layoff at the age of, 38 is probably not the best. Charles Oliveira is 35, but fair enough. But the thing is, he's only lost to, arguably, the best in the division. Obviously, Islam Makhachev, the pound-for-pound king, and Arman Tsarukyan, next in line for the title shot. So, you know. But I do believe this is a 5-round co-main event. I do believe. Because people believe, oh, he would have stopped Arman Tsarukyan if it was a 5-round fight. Maybe. But let's not forget Arman was, piecing Charles up, on the feet. So, you know, you never know. Anything could have happened. Right? But Michael Chandler's old. And on a 2-year layoff. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's still very explosive, very strong. You never know. He almost stopped Charles Oliveira, I think, in the first round. But after that, he kind of just, like everyone says, his IQ drops by 60 by the time the second round appears. Which is pretty funny, but it's probably what's going to happen again. He's going to try to steamroll through Oliveira the first round and then just forget what to do the next other. Like, oh, well, I tried to knock him out. It didn't work, so what are we going to do? Well, nothing much we could do now. Time to lose. But besides that, it's probably just going to be Oliveira, this time by submission against Chandler. I do think he gets it maybe in the third round. I mean, he nearly submitted Arman 2 different times in the fight. So, he could submit Chandler as well. But you never know. Chandler might do something dumb and knock out Oliveira in the first minute. That's a possibility. Genuinely, that might be a possibility. But that's not going to happen. But besides that, give me Oliveira, 3rd round submission win. But besides that, the main event, which is not what most people are talking about. I think people are a little bit more excited for Oliveira Chandler because of the first fight. But it is the light heavyweight GOAT, Jon Jones, versus the heavyweight GOAT, Stipe Miocic. Speaking of Stipe, he is 20-4, 15 wins by way of knockout, and 5 decision wins. 4 losses, 3 by knockout, and 1 by decision, at the ripe old age of 42. Yeah, he also is coming off of a 3-year layoff instead of 2. And we already said how bad that could be for a 38-year-old. This is a 42-year-old. So yeah. But the last time he fought was when he got knocked out against Francis Ngannou. Speaking of his other losses, he lost to Stefan Struve by knockout, Junior Dos Santos via decision, and Daniel Cormier via knockout, obviously. But the one thing is, he has avenged, or at least not has avenged, but he at least has a win against all his losses. Good or bad, it does not mean anything. He lost to Junior Dos Santos by decision. He then later went to go knock him out in the first round. He lost to Daniel Cormier via knockout in the first round, to later stop him in the fourth round and win by decision in the trilogy. He lost to Ngannou via knockout at the ripe old age of, I do believe, 39. But before that, he actually beat Francis Ngannou back in 2018 via decision. So yeah, he has quite literally has a win over all his losses. The only time he lost was when he's 39. So safe to assume age caught up to him, right? But besides that, John Bones Jones is 27-1, 10 wins by way of knockout, 7 submission wins, and 10 decisions. One loss, that being by other. You may be wondering, what is that other? And that is the highly controversial disqualification against Matt Hamill with the, I think it's 12 and 6 elbows, I do believe that's what they call it. And that was illegal at the time. Now it seems to be legal. If you're like, oh, but that means you have to reverse the loss. Obviously, that's a joke. They're joking about it. Nah, he's undefeated now. But like, whatever. Rules are rules, even if they get reversed later on, right? But besides that, he has that one no contest, and that was against Daniel Cormier in the second fight, where I do believe that's where he tested positive for steroids when he fought like a 39-year-old Daniel Cormier. So yeah, this man loves beating up old men. That's for sure. But he is coming off of the Cyril Gane submission win back in 2023. So he himself is coming off of a slightly long layoff. But besides that, he went on a hiatus for 3 years with the controversial win against Dominic Reyes. Yeah, many people believe Reyes beat Jones like convincingly, not like, oh, it was a close fight. No, they thought he won 3 rounds convincingly. So yeah. But besides that, it's a very interesting one because John Bones Jones is 37. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. He submitted Cyril Gane in the first round, but like Gane got out-wrestled against Francis Ngannou. So like, I get it. Ngannou's like twice the size of Jones, but like, not a good look. Stipe Miocic has fought his fair share of wrestlers, being Daniel Cormier, some other guys. But it's a weird one. Only because Stipe is no longer ranked number 1, obviously because he's been gone for like 3 years. And the heavyweight division has moved on tremendously since his hiatus. Obviously, we all know Pavlovich's rise, obviously then being dethroned by Tom Aspinall for the interim title. And he defended it too. So obviously people have a lot of mixed feelings. Not mixed feelings, they have a lot of negative feelings about this. It's just, he likes to say this is for legacy, but Stipe is 42. Even if Jones were to defeat him in the first round, it does not make John Jones the GOAT of heavyweight. It does not at all. I don't even think if he were to beat Aspinall, that would make him the GOAT of heavyweight. It'll make him close, but it wouldn't. There's only positives for Stipe, because if Stipe wins, then he's 100% solidifies himself as the heavyweight GOAT and one of the best fighters of all time, right? But it's not a gimmick fight, because Stipe's, I assume he's coming to win, right? Why not? He's getting paid well. It's a retirement fight, and if he wins a title, he kind of ruins everyone's plans, because then he not only wins the title, vacates it, and then Tom Aspinall is elevated. So yeah, but then they say they're gonna strip Tom Aspinall. So like, okay, that's whatever. But besides that, enough dilly-dallying. Who's gonna win? It's gonna be Jones. No one's really, making a whole lot of arguments for Stipe, right? Because Stipe's old. Like, you could tell he's old. Like, he's old. He moves like an old guy, right? But what's funny is I'm actually interested in this fight because I want to believe that I'm in the universe, out of all of them, where Stipe flatlines John Jones in the first round. I kind of want to believe that I'm in that universe. That would be just funny. A little bit funny. A little bit sad because the dude gets knocked out, but like, that'll be a little funny. Like, oh, we're going to make John Jones a heavyweight GOAT by making him fight Stipe. Oh, no, John Jones is out. And he just vacates and leaves and rides off into the sunset. That'd be hilarious. But besides that, yeah, John Jones is most likely going to submit Stipe Miocic probably second round. I do believe. Look, he's old, but like John Jones is also old. Both of them are going to be dealing with hip problems during the fight. So obviously, it's going to buy them some time, right? But that's about it. It's very interesting fights because both of them, I don't want to say have clear winners, but they have clear winners. Oliveira is going to beat Chandler again because they're not getting any younger, but like Chandler's 38 and coming off of like a long layoff, so off a submission loss. And Stipe Miocic is coming off of an even bigger layoff coming off of a knockout loss. So yeah, I'm not saying that none of these are going to be competitive fights, but they're going to be competitive for like the first round. After that is not going to be competitive. Hopefully we live in a universe where Stipe upsets John Jones, but I hardly doubt it. But besides that, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Chandler or Miocic can upset Oliveira or Jones, or do you just think, they're just feeding them to them again? This is just a weird fight, right? But besides that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.